What's going on my fantasy basketball fans out there? It's Waiver Wire Queen, and welcome to the Score Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Today, I am going to recommend some more players you should consider adding via the waiver wire to help you throughout the season in fantasy basketball. I will identify the players who will help you in the short and then the players who should be able to help your team long term throughout the season. Make sure you hit the like button, leave some comments, and subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay active and to stay ahead of your competition each week in fantasy basketball. Let's talk about these players that you should pick up. Cole Anthony, guard with the Orlando Magic. He had a good season last year. He's picking up right where he left off. He went off against the Knicks the other night. 29 points, 16 rebounds, and 8 assists. Damn near had a triple double, which we like. We love players who can help our team out in multiple categories. So I don't expect him to average a high total of rebounds for the total season. However, right now he's averaging 7.7 rebounds, and that's due to the 16 rebounds he had the other night. However, that is still good production. He's averaging 6 assists on the season and 16 points. I expect the points to come down slightly, but the assists to stay in that 6 to 7 range, and the rebounds most likely will end up being 4 to 5 rebounds per game, which is still really good for a guard who you are going to pick up to come off your bench to help your team on nights where you got those players who are out due to load management, injuries, they're off because they don't have any games scheduled, or, COVID protocol. We have to prepare for everything, and the goal is to stay ahead of your competition. So he is rostered in a little over 45% of Yahoo leagues, which means he is still available, and he's available on most platforms at least 50% of the time. So if you are looking to pick up a guard who is going to help you for the entire season, then Cole Anthony is a must add, and you shouldn't waste any time putting a claim in for him. Okay, he's playing over 30 minutes a night. That should stay within that range. So you can expect a really good guard to come off your bench and help you throughout the season. So go on and pick him up immediately, guys. Don't wait, okay? He already went off for 29, okay? Don't wait till you go off 30, 45. But let's talk about rookie Chris Duarte, guard with the Pacers. He has surprised me. I didn't expect this good of production from him early on in the season. He is balling. He is playing his tail off. He is rostered in over 69% of Yahoo leagues. However, that means he is still available, but not as much. He is available in one of my leagues. I'm definitely going to put a claim in for him. He's playing over 35 minutes per game, but he's averaging 20 points. If anything, I expected him to come in there and rebound the ball and play good defense. Well, no, he's dropping 20 points, 4.5 rebounds, shooting 45% from threes. I expect that to come down to maybe the mid to high 30s at the end of the season, which still isn't that bad from a rookie who you really didn't have expectations. At this point, he's a must own in every league. Like, if you have him available in your league, go on and snatch him up. Do not wait any longer, because someone else in your league is going to pick him up and you're going to regret it. So don't think twice about it. Only issue with him, he's shooting 40% from the field. I think that will improve slightly. And then you can expect that he will chip in with some steals. He's a nice, solid young defender. So long term, this is good value. I'm telling you, he is going to be a part of what they do going forward. I don't care who's out with injuries right now. He should be a part of what they do going forward. You simply cannot um, decrease his minutes at all. Not with the type of production he is putting out early on to start the season. I'm not saying he's going to average 20 at the end of the season, but right now, best believe he is performing at a level that the Pacers can't ignore, and we're not ignoring it because we're picking him up. Okay, so go on and pick him up if he's available. Let's talk about Cam Reddish. Cam, guard slash word for the Atlanta Falcons. I really feel bad for him. I want to see him go somewhere else where he has even more opportunity to play. He's averaging 19 points, 4 rebounds, and shooting 48% from the field. So you're gonna get a nice points, a good field goal percentage. He's going to play solid defense, so that means he may get you some rebounds on a defensive end and some steals as well as a block here and there. So you're getting a nice young player. So he is good for long term, in my opinion, because they gotta keep playing him because he's playing well. They have so many players who play the same position. It's crazy. Somebody is going to fall off and not play as much as see their minutes decrease. However, when you can play defense and score the ball and be pretty much a 3-and-D guy, you're gonna find yourself on the floor. And I'm glad that they're playing him. He played really good in the playoffs last season, so I'm glad they're playing him. Hopefully, they continue to play him. If not, maybe they're showcasing him so they can trade him to a team where he's going to get more opportunity. All right. Remember, again, he's only rostered in 43% of Yahoo leagues, which means he is available by at least 57%. So if you can pick Cam up, go on and pick him up. He's a player who will be a nice add to your bench. I always say we are not just building our team for our starters. We are building a total team, which means we are concerned about our bench players as well as our starters, because our bench players will win us our league, because you got players who will be out for several different reasons, and those players who come off your bench, it's going to make or break you some nights, maybe several nights. Okay, let's talk about Pat Connerton. That's right, y'all. We talking about Pat Connerton out here in these fantasy basketball streets. Yes, Pat is playing his tail off right now. He is seeing over 30 minutes per game, and that's because Vincius, I don't even know if I pronounce his name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. He's still out due to injury. So Pat played well at times in the playoffs. So I'm not surprised he's a part of what they do, because he's a player who's going to space the floor for the Greek Freak, and you want players who can space the floor. So what he's doing right now is averaging 14 points, 4.5 rebounds, and shooting 60% from the field. Okay, that is solid. I expect him to shoot between 37 and 38% from threes. So you can expect that from him. Now, the average of 14 points per game, that's not going to stay like that for the entire season. So he is a player you look at for short-term value. Okay. That is it. Don't be surprised in a month or two, Vincent come back and that production go down. He's not going to be able to sustain this, but nonetheless, what we are doing is we are using the players who are playing well, and then once they're no longer playing well, then you can get rid of him. But for right now, if you can pick him up, he is going to get you some rebounds on most nights. He's going to shoot a good percentage from the field, good percentage from threes, and he's playing over 30 minutes right now. Okay, so pick up Pat Connerton if you can, guys, because he's only rostered in 25% of Yahoo leagues. So he is a player that can help you, because let's face it, if you are playing in a 10, 12, 14, 16 team league in fantasy basketball, it's going to be hard some nights trying to find players to help your team on the waiver wire. So you got to really dig deep. And that's why you are in tune with the Score Fantasy Basketball podcast, because we're going to find those players who are going to help you, regardless if you look at the waiver wire and say, ooh, there's no one out there, there's no value. We're going to find a value for you over here. Let's talk about Ricky Rubio. That's right, y'all. Ricky Rubio is still playing fantasy basketball, right? He is still relevant right now. I do not expect Ricky Rubio to have long-term value, but for right now, he has value. And when you have value, we're going to pick you up and we're going to use you. And he's having really good value early on to start. I am just surprised that the Cavs are playing him as much, considering they're a team in rebuild. So they really should be getting their young players more involved. However, they're playing players like Love and Rubio, who are past their prime and pretty much no longer a part of a rebuild. They should be going on to teams who are contending for the playoffs and championships. But nonetheless, we don't care. It's all about what we are doing in fantasy basketball. Ricky Rubio is doing it right now, averaging 16 points per game, shooting 48% from the field, and 9 assists. One thing you know, if you don't know anything else about Ricky Rubio, he's going to get you assists. So if you was in need of assists in a categories-based league, then Ricky Rubio is a player you can throw in there if you are struggling with your bench play and you need a player to fill in and get you assists. He will get you the assist. Some nights his stats, his stat line will look like 6, 10, 9 or 12, 8, 12. Like it's like that. He's gonna rebound the ball, he's gonna get you assists. Some nights he's not going to shoot a high percentage from the field, but that's okay because he's gonna make up for it with the assist and with the rebound. So Ricky Rubio, like I said, right now he's playing so good that we cannot ignore it. We're gonna use whatever Ricky Rubio got going on right now. We're gonna use it to our advantage to help us win every night and every week, and ultimately look back and say, yeah, that was a good pickup for the short term, because this is not, to me, a long-term situation. Another player to look at is Hassan Whiteside. Yes, he is playing for Utah now. He's gotten around a bit. He's center forward. He's rostered in only 26% of Yahoo leagues, which means you can pick him up to help your team. Now, when I tell you his stats, you're gonna say, well, damn, if he was playing more minutes, what would he do for our team? You know, so he's averaging 7 points and 9.5 rebounds and shooting 62% from the field, only playing 17 minutes per game. Obviously, he's not going to be playing over Gobert. So it is what it is. But nonetheless, 7 points, 9.5, 10 rebounds is good production for a player who's only playing 17 minutes, who can come and help your team off the bench. Like I said, the center position, it dries up. However, a player who's giving you 17 minutes, 7 points, 9.5 rebounds, and shooting a really good percentage from the field is a player you can add to your bench, and he'll be able to help you on some nights. You got to think of when you add the totals up, there's 7 points right along there. He's going to at least get you between 18 and 20 fantasy points, maybe even more if he's throwing in some blocks, or some nights if he's playing a little bit more than the 17 minutes. So definitely look at Hassan Whiteside, because again, the center position, it's rough. Let's be real. Sometimes it gets rough because it dries up quickly, and sometimes they don't value the center position as much. But when you can get a player who's going to come off the bench and produce those numbers in a limited role with limited minutes, you pick him up, because you never know when those minutes will increase. And you got to think 7 and 9.5 and only 17 minutes. Just think if they increase those minutes throughout the season to about 20, 23 minutes, his statistical output is going to go up. Let's talk about Jalen Brunson. He is last on this list. And with Jalen, he's definitely going to be in the mix with the Mavs. He's playing over 23 minutes per game. He's shooting 57% from threes, which is going to come down a lot this early on in the season, guys. You got to realize some teams have only played 3 games, some 2, just getting started within the season. So that 57% is going to come down. I expect it to be in maybe the high 30s, if anything 40, but most likely 38, 39% to average out the season. And right now he's averaging 11 points and 4 rebounds. So he's a player who I would look at in a spot start when I'm really struggling and desperate for some type of help with my guards, if players are out or other issues that would force you to have to go and add a player like Jalen Brunson. There may be some nights where that 11 points is going to be more than 11 points because they are playing him. And you know from last season that they utilized him a lot. So he was consistent, given at least 15, 17 fantasy points per game. I only look at him for a points-based league, although that 3-point field goal percentage is high. It's pretty much inflated due to the a number of games. However, he's not going to be of any value in a categories based league. I look at Brunson as a long term value, but only spot starts. He's gonna pretty much get 15 to 18 fantasy points per game for the whole season. So if you are in need on certain nights, then he is a player you can look at, especially if you can't get Cole Anthony or Derrick Rose, who's still out there. If you can't get those guards or Ricky Rubio, then a player like Brunson is not a bad ad. He's not going to produce what those guys produce, but on some nights when you find out at the last minute your guard can't play, so you have to fill in that position and you are looking and Brunson is available, it's better to have 15, 17 points than 0 points, especially if you're in a points based league. You do not allow yourself to go without points. I don't care what the situation is. Player is out. You get him out of your lineup and you have to do what you have to do and work the waiver wire. And some nights, working the waiver wire may mean that Jalen Brunson is going to come in there and help your team with 15, 18, maybe 20 points. And that still is a win for you. Points, some points is better than no points. So half a loaf is better than no loaf. And you just got to understand that sometimes in fantasy basketball, because of the way your league is constructed and the roster slots are, you may be looking at players like Brunson that you have to consider adding, or a player like Hassan Whiteside who you have to consider adding. I feel like Hassan Whiteside has more value right now than Brunson because he has the potential to at least get you a double double, which is great value from the bench. Okay, all right, y'all. Make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay connected with us throughout the week to see what videos and updates we have regarding fantasy basketball. Remember, the waiver wire ads we discussed today is based on a Yahoo roster breakdown. So if you are in a Yahoo based league, the percentages of the roster we discussed is based on the Yahoo platform, which is a really good platform to use. However, players are definitely available on other platforms like ESPN and the Sleeper platform as well. Make sure you leave any type of questions you have or comments regarding this video or any questions you may have on fantasy basketball. On Saturday, we released a video on some players you should consider adding via the waiver wire. So go on and check that video out and make sure that you consider adding those players as well, because there were several really good players that will be able to help your team going forward in week 2 and long term. A lot of those players have great long term value. So check out that video on a YouTube channel, or you can check it out on any podcast platform, because we have uploaded our videos and audio on those sites as well. So check it out, those platforms. And again, make sure that you are subscribing to the channel for more great content and fantasy basketball. All right, y'all. It's Waiver Wire Queen. Y'all have a great day. Peace.